What's up, guys? Welcome back
man.
to the Coastal Chaos Podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm T, man, and here we go again.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a technical mishap where I might have accidentally streamed the first little take on this podcast, episode 3, to my Twitch. I accidentally did that, and it's not the Coastal Chaos Twitch, it's my gaming account. So that was learning moment. The buttons are really close together. So but no, what we were kind of talking about, with the Miami Indiana game, we were talking about, how Indiana has 68% chance, or a little bit higher than 68% chance to win based off public predictions. Obviously, we are on opposite sides of the fence on who we want to win based on our previous episodes. He wants Miami. I've been an Indiana believer since early on in the season. We kind of differ on that, but I think that with an 8.5 point spread now as it sits, we're Saturday evening before the game. It's rising. Opened at 5.5, and at that point I was willing to take Indiana, minus 5.5, because I think that's going to be one score game. 7 points, I think decides it. I think 8.5 is almost an easy Miami bet, because you guys do have more talent. 3 5-stars versus their 0 5-stars. Plus.
We have the best defense in college football.
And they're the best defense y'all see, in my opinion. Obviously, y'all had Ohio State as a common opponent. Y'all's game was a little bit.
You see what Michael Irvin did?
Michael Irvin's a different beast.
That man is coked.
Yeah.
That man is coked. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. That man is coked. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about it, bro.
He's got a personality, that's for sure. But his reactions are funny to watch, because you just know how cooked out he is on the sidelines. And
dude, that man be on all fours on the sideline. Like, bro, what are you fucking thinking there, bro?
He would fit well on Georgia's sidelining. I think he's about to bark sometimes. But, I mean, we disagree a little bit on how we think the outcome of the game is going to go. But I do acknowledge that if Miami gets away from their penalties that they had against Ole Miss, and they play football like they did against Ohio State and Texas A&M, they have a chance. I think that's their only chance to win that game. I don't think they play sloppy football and win. They really got to tie it down. What do you see as a Miami fan? What do you think Miami needs to do versus what Indiana could do to win the national championship?
Well, my opinion, Miami, you got to go out there, as I've said in many podcasts, in many of our episodes, the last episode, the episode before, you got to go out there with the dog. You can't go out there, playing on your heels. You got to play on your toes. Got to play on the toes. You got to, every man to the ball. We missed the first tackle. 5 other guys got to be there to hit him. We break off of a tackle. We got to block the next guy to have Mark Fletcher, who we all know every game has had over 100 yards. Only game that he hasn't was Louisville and SMU. And that's because he wasn't really playing. He wasn't getting the touches. But as a Miami fan, I think the, sloppy play, I don't think that's going to help us win. I think if we play smash mouth, balls to the wall, you get the ball, I'm going to lay you the hell out. Again, I don't think there should be targeting on some of the hits that we did, a.k.a. the last week's hit. I don't think it was targeting, man. These boys trying to play football. They're trying to get into the game. They're not trying to take somebody out. They're just trying to be heard. We were the number 10th team to be in the playoffs. We're the second team in the NC or in the championship. Obviously, Indiana, they're ranked number 1. It's,
They've been the best team all year. Not on paper, Miami has the more talent, but on cohesion, discipline, the way that they're playing football, they're definitely the better team going in, the better unit. And you guys on paper look a lot better with the ratings for your players and things like that. Yeah. And Carson Beck already has 2 rings, even though he was on the bench. Yeah, he was on the bench for 2 of them at Georgia, but he has been there. He's been to the stage. It wasn't that he was starting on the stage, but he definitely has the championship mentality. You know.
Of course.
We joke around, obviously, because you guys still haven't won an ACC championship as a program. But
we'll win
at the point too is now with the 12-team playoffs, you don't have to win a conference championship to win the national championship. Back in the BCS era and prior to that, you had to be one of the 2 best teams to even get into the championship game, which meant either going undefeated or having a loss but winning your conference championship, something like that, which that's not how it is nowadays. There's a committee which don't always agree with, but I definitely agree with them, putting Miami in. Miami's been good on paper, and like you said, you guys played a different level of football in the playoffs. Outside of the Ole Miss game, I think Ole Miss kind of showed a little bit of the normal Miami team we're used to that has mistakes but still finds a way to win. But playing against Texas A&M, playing against Ohio State, Miami played really good football. And they're going to have to play that caliber of football against Indiana. They can't play down to their competition because there isn't playing down to your competition. You're playing the best team in the country. The only team that hasn't lost. The only team who has just went out there and showed their dominance. They had a close game against Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. Yeah. And I think that came down to, Ohio State had a good defense as well. But Ohio State has a good offense, and Indiana held them.
Yeah, but Indiana held them to a 3-point game. We hold them to
14.
Yeah, they had 14. Indiana had them at 10, but we beat them by 10.
Yeah. Indiana beat them by 3. Indiana wasn't able to fully get the job done to the same extent, but I think Miami, with the football that they were playing and the way Ohio State played, it's not the same game and it's not completely comparable. I mean, obviously it's a common opponent, but look what Indiana's done in the playoffs, just the same.
Yeah.
No. They're blowing out every team that they see now.
I am a diehard Miami fan, but I am a fan of Indiana and their program. I think their head coach, phenomenal. I think the way he is, that's an angry man. That man, you guys can win a damn championship, he can be like, job's not done.
Yeah, let's go back to back.
Let's go back to back, and that's cool. Mario Cristobal, Ole Miss, or against Ole Miss, we score the touchdown. The one coach is all hyped, and he's like, the game's not going to over. That's a dog. That's the type of person you need. Yeah. And, of course, Indiana has that with
Curt Cignetti he's never going to be happy. He carries the Kobe mentality to a whole new level.
100%. And I'm a big fan of him. But for Miami to do what they need to do to win the Natty, you got to go in there. First play, run it. Nobody has been able to stop our run. There's might have been 1 or 2 plays a game. I'm not going to say 1 or 2 plays all year, but 1 or 2 plays a game that they have, we have been stopped for less than 4 yards. Other than that, run it down their throat. That's why Mark Fletcher has 150 or over 100 yards every game. Because he can run. Brown, our running back, or our second running back, he can run. So I think, one, we got to smash mouth. We got to play smash mouth ball. Got to hit. You got to run that ball. You get that ball open in the free lane, I don't think Indiana's catching Mark Fletcher. Same thing with Malachi Tony. Malachi Tony is one of the fastest kids playing, and he's 17.
Yeah, he just turned
18.
A couple months ago.
But I don't see us losing to Indiana if we play the down to the field, like we do everything right. I think if we do what we did against Ole Miss, where there's 20 damn penalties, you get a horse shit call for targeting. Let these boys play. Let them play.
I think it's going to depend on the referees too, because in the Ohio State game, it wasn't that y'all weren't playing the same. You guys definitely had a cleaner game on paper, but I think that there were penalties on both sides of the ball in that Ohio State-Miami game that didn't get called. Versus against Ole Miss, they called everything that they saw till basically the fourth quarter. They kind of weaned off a little bit in the fourth quarter, and some things got loose. There were holdings on both sides. Defensive pass interference, offensive pass interference. There's just some calls that I didn't specifically agree with that maybe were missed or were called that I did agree with. Sort of thing. But I think that we're gonna see a good championship game. It's not gonna be at least from my predictions. If Indiana goes in and steamrolls y'all, or y'all go in and steamroll Indiana, I'm going to be surprised.
I'll be surprised if it's more than a 1-point game. And when I say 1 point, I mean 1 possession.
Yeah, so I think it's within 7.
Yeah, I see within 7. Whether it's Indiana beating us by 7 or less, or us beating Indiana by 7 or less, I don't see it being a steamroll. I don't see it being Miami blows out Indiana as much as I would love it. But I don't see Indiana beating us as bad as they beat Alabama or as bad as they beat damn Oregon. We're not in Oregon and we're not in Alabama. We're not a team that lost to a 5-7 FSU team, and we're not.
Well, that was close. It was close.
Brother,
Miami started playing sloppy football. We get back within 6.
Yeah. We were just fucking. They say don't play with your food. We were playing with our food, man. That's all it was. I've almost choked on my food by playing with it before, bro. Oh, yeah. And that's really what almost happened. They almost choked playing that game.
You like to play with things that choke on me, I know.
No, brother. I'm not you. I'm not you.
But yeah, I mean, it's the final game of college football. So, I mean, we still got a month or so, just under a month left of NFL football. We've seen, some teams pull out some wins last week. We had, Rams beat the Panthers. We both have the Rams going to the Super Bowl on the NFC side. At least that's kind of our predictions that we've had. 49ers pulled out a good win against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then the Bears got it done against the Packers. I think, as we're recording this, we've got one game going on right now with Broncos-Bills on the AFC side.
I want to make this note. This motherfucker's a hater. He did say
I still think
Broncos were going to win. I still think
the Broncos are going to win. They were up by 10 at halftime. They're down by 1 right now here in the fourth quarter, 24-23. I think the Broncos still come out with a win. We're not watching the game live, but we do see, the score coming in here. And I think the Broncos, if this is the year for the Bills, it's going to be the year. Josh Allen hasn't been able to overcome Burrow or Mahomes in the playoffs, and neither one of them's there. So I think that if we have something going on here for the Bills, it's going to be this year. If it's not this year, I don't know when the Bills are finally going to be able to win the championship. I think they've got a good squad, but I just think the Broncos are the team that is going to put them out this year. I still see the Patriots making it to the playoffs
I'll tell you this.
In the AFC.
If the Bills can walk away beating the Broncos, it's going to be close. I don't see the Bills beating the Patriots. I'd love to see it. But playoff Allen is different than regular season. It's no different than Carson Beck. We keep going back to it. I'm sorry. But
Carson Beck's still ass.
Playoff Carson Beck has done right.
Carson Beck shows up in certain moments, but he looks like shit for a quarter and a half of the game.
Brother, but Carson Beck is we say it, clutch time Beck. It's the truth. We're down by a touchdown. We need to score. So we score. Our defense stops. Or they get them to a field goal to where they're up by 3. We score a touchdown. We'll be up by 4. Ole Miss, it happened. It fucking happened. But I see it being tough for the Patriots to beat the Bills but the Bills got to get past the Broncos. I'm a Josh Allen fan. I root for him. That man deserves a chip.
Yeah.
This is the only time so far that I've seen and kind of witnessed Pat Mahomes hasn't been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fuck,
It's crazy to think that he's not in the playoffs. I want to say the last time he wasn't, I think Josh Allen was getting his like first year with Wyoming, or maybe second year with Wyoming, something like that. He was still in college.
Mm-hmm.
So to think that Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs is crazy.
Yeah.
But we've got our teams out here. Obviously you want the Bills to win. I think that might be the only game we differ on is Broncos Bills. You're saying Bills are going to win this. I've got Broncos winning it still. Patriots Texans. We've both picked Patriots Rams Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's our predictions.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of consensus that without Kittle, the Seahawks and JSN are picked to win that Seahawks-Niners game. Overall, I think that these are going to be some good games. Wild Card Weekend was full of some good games. Eagles 49ers came down to 4 points. The Panthers Rams came down to 3 points. That game went really late. We watched that one together. That one was really good. Packers Bears, again, another game came down by 3 to go in, score a touchdown, get up, do what you got to do and seal it out. The Bears did what they had to do. I don't think they're doing that against the Rams tonight. I don't think they
play the Rams tomorrow.
Or tomorrow, whatever time they're playing. I don't think the Bears are going to pull off 2 miracles in a row. I think the Packers gave them a real run for their money, and that's a divisional opponent. It's hard to beat them. In the playoffs and things like that. It's hard to see somebody that you've already seen twice. They say it's hard to beat a team 2 times, let alone 3. So even if you split with somebody, it's hard to beat them twice on either side of the ball. That was a close game. Bears could surprise me. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, they got some
Caleb
weapons.
Williams,
Loveland, that tight end.
Yeah.
What a game from him last week.
Yeah, bro. I was a fan of what he's done. He's done well for him. I like Caleb Williams. He paints his nails.
Yeah, that's what you like about him.
No, that's what I don't like about him. But I think on the time he's not painting his nails, I think he really is working on himself to be a better quarterback. He's realized it's a lot different. And I think with him coming from where he came from to now, I think it's a big difference.
Yeah.
I do. I root for him. I mean, it'd be nice to see the Bears there, but
I think Stafford's just a dog. I think he's gonna.
Oh yeah.
I think him. You've got, in my opinion, probably the best receiver that's left in the playoffs. People make the argument JSN versus Puka. Puka makes things happen.
Bro,
But Puka also has Devontae Adams on the other side of the ball. JSN has Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's a former Triple Crown winner with the Rams. Did his thing. But I think Devontae Adams at this point in both of their careers, Devontae Adams is a step above Cooper Kupp.
Oh, 100%.
So I think Puka has a better wide receiver too. And the fact that he's still doing what he does with that much talent on the other side of the ball, it's impressive. Some of the catches, the run after catches that he has, like he is making plays. And I think they've got the squad. I'd like to see a Rams championship, because I think if they do it, Stafford leaves. I think he retires.
Yep.
I think Devontae Adams probably retires if they win a chip.
Yeah.
Both of them are getting there to later in their careers where they are getting to the point where if they hit that success margin, they're probably going to be out, and that's fine. They're doing their thing. If they get a chip and leave, it happens. I think the Patriots are a young team. I think they have probably the second best odds to win this year. Drake May's playing out of his mind. They've got young talent at running back. They've got, Stephon Diggs is there. He's, as long as he stays healthy throughout the playoffs, I think that he's going to be a big weapon for him. Hunter Henry's going to be a big weapon for him at tight end.
You know what I find funny? Diggs is playing against his old team. I just was thinking about that.
Yeah, but when you went to multiple teams, it's
it's like a hooker.
It's like he played for the Bills too. So it's
he played for the Bills.
Yeah. So it's like it's something where if they win against his one former team, and then the Bills are up. Now they're up by 4. They're up 27-23. So if the Bills do end up pulling off the win against the Broncos, he'll be seeing another one of his teams. So it's like, yeah, you can play for every team there. I think the only team that he won't have to see is the Vikings because they're not in the playoffs. But when you bounce around like that, it's hard not to see your former teams. But yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. I think we're kind of consensus on who we think's gonna win. It's not really a whole lot of debate.
Yo, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a damn about this going on right now, man. I want to see the Miami win. I just want to see it, bro.
That's Monday.
It's a once in a lifetime chance.
Well,
for me,
maybe for a Miami
I'm a Miami fan. You know,
Florida State's already won.
FSU already won once. Yeah. When's the last time? Before then?
2013. Before that, it was 1999. They had.
All right, so he's seen it once in his lifetime. I need to see it.
Yeah,
it's my
99 was a couple of years before I was born. The 01 championship for you was just after you were born.
Just right after.
Yeah, but you don't remember it, so.
Hell no, bro. I was like 4 months. And then the 2002, obviously, I don't remember us going to there. I was a year and a half, almost 2 years old. And we didn't win it. We lost to goddamn
Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, bro.
You got your get back.
No, we lost to them in the Cotton Bowl.
No, it's the Fiesta Bowl. It was in Arizona. It was where that game was at. It was because you guys won.
We lost to Ohio
State there. So you beat Ohio State this year, and then you went back and won at the Fiesta Bowl. You kind of wrote the wrongs of the last time you were at the national championship level. And that was the first time y'all had played in the Fiesta Bowl since that national championship. So, Miami is on a warpath. You got quite a bit of guys that are going to be playing on Sundays. I don't think Carson Beck is worth it. But
first rounder between pick 10 and 20, bro.
If he's a first rounder, I will eat my words in that because I don't think that he has the talent.
When is the draft?
I want to say April. April's
all right. Listen,
we should see,
guys. Draft day, first round. We're gonna do a podcast. It's gonna be live. We're gonna play it in the back. Our screen will play the draft.
Yeah.
And that way we can go ahead and make sure he eats his words, bro. We'll make sure of that.
Hey, man, we're going to be sitting here watching, deliberating on who we think teams should pick and things like that. But if Carson Beck goes in the first round, I'm going to be surprised. And obviously we're going to have a podcast after the draft is completed. We can do a first round live, do something like that so that we can have our fresh takes and then kind of do like a recap on which teams pick, best picks that we saw from teams, who we liked the best off of each team's draft board, things like that, because going through every round is going to be too much for a podcast. But I think that going into, because a 4-hour live stream is going to be quite a bit.
Really?
But I think that we do that on a frequent basis with our video game side. So it'll be fun. We'll try to set something up to where we can either get the live stream here, or maybe we can play it on the screen so that something is going, and we just talk over it if we have to stream the podcast. However, we can get it to
we
work.
We can make it work. So we talked about the Indiana Miami. We talked about the games coming up. One thing, you think Nico Collins is gonna leave if they go into the Super Bowl?
I don't even think it takes that. I think Nico Collins maybe has 1-2 seasons left in him. If they win a chip this year, he may make it quicker. He may only play one more season, but I think he's got 1 or 2 left in him.
I think he leaves. At least he might not retire, but I think he leaves Texans.
Oh, if they win a chip, I don't know if he leaves the Texans.
But
I don't see the Texans even winning.
No, I don't think
against
it'll be
Patriots, but
yeah. But I see if they lose, he moves on.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
time to.
There's going to be a lot of big changes in the offseason this year, I think. There's a lot of coaching options out there.
Yep.
Players are going to be moving. A lot of guys are in contract years,
Yep.
so there's going to be a lot of movement this year.
I see A.J. Brown leaving.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown
Get
doesn't
him
seem happy.
out of there, bro. You lost first round. Granted, it was, 49ers. But you don't target one of your best receivers. Again, I'm not saying he's the best receiver in the NFL, but he's the best receiver on the Eagles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you don't target him. Man, and I was hating it during the year,
Yeah, you heard
during
both
the
of us in
season.
fantasy football.
That man was hurt by fantasy scores, man. It wasn't just that wasn't the only reason I lost.
You had
this
him in a
year.
league. I had him in a league.
Yeah.
And I do say that between him and, Justin Jefferson,
Bro,
some of
Jay
some,
Jettis, what the fuck happened, bro? What the fuck? I'm like, dude, I fought for it, bro.
Jay
brother.
Jettis was battling. So Jay Jettis had his own injuries. He had inconsistent quarterback play because he was having different
J.J.
quarterbacks
McCarthy,
playing.
Yeah.
When
But
you're
get him
playing
the
with all these
fuck out of
guys,
there too, bro. Get him out of there. He deserves that man. Jay Jettis deserves a real on-star.
I would like
quarterback.
to see him.
I'd like to see him on the Bengals.
I'd like to see him on the Bengals because
Put him with his boys,
as much as it would be so toxic for the league because the Bengals already got a good wide receiver room. They got Chase, they got Higgins, they got some dogs over there already.
Problem adding
but if you
Jettis, bro.
And I think the Bengals would probably get rid of Higgins.
Yeah,
I don't think
100%.
because it's disrespectful to make him a wide receiver 3. He's good enough to be a one on a lot of teams.
Or you just make him a wide receiver 3 and have the best wideout fucking.
They already have probably one of the best wide receiver rooms in college in the NFL. But if you put Jettas on that squad with Chase, that's overkill. Who do you get the ball to at that point? Who do
you fucking guard at that point?
Yeah.
Think about this. These
everybody's
guys
going to be
did
like
that.
7-Eleven and always open.
These guys did that in college.
Yeah.
They won a ship together. So I think Jay Jettis needs to do what he can to go to the Bengals. Because, brother...
I don't see it happening. I don't think the NFL allows it to happen.
I would see it happening.
I don't think the NFL, not the board, not the NFLPA, nothing like that.
But when is his contract up?
I don't know.
Boy, man, hey, Bengals, get on that man's line. Get his ass. Because he needs help, bro. Yeah, they got Jordan Addison. The Vikings do have Jordan Addison. You got fucking... What the hell? What is their running back's name? It's not Cook.
You've got Jordan Mason.
And then their other one. Got long dreads.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name right now. I had Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones.
You got him, but brother, they got to get a quarterback. And that could be who Carson Beck goes to. Could be who he goes to, but they need
you and this Carson Beck story, man.
They need an actual quarterback because Jay Jettis did good when they had Kurt. You got rid of Kurt. Now look what you did.
Kirk ain't even doing anything anymore. This man's a backup on Atlanta, and I'm like, what is going on, man?
Brother,
how do you get rid of Kirk Cousins and then go get a man who threw for less than 200 yards in most all of his college games? And there's no disrespect to J.J. McCarthy. He was on a good he was a good system quarterback at Michigan. He had a good run game, coming behind him, great defense that was protecting things. And Jay Jettas needs something more of a long ball thrower who's accurate, can stay healthy, can do what he's got to do. And if McCarthy can't do that, which I'm not saying he can't, obviously he hasn't had a whole lot of time to prove that yet. He could come in next year, if he gets fully healthy and ball out. He could surprise all of us.
But the thing is, bro, I see McCarthy as one of those guys. And I don't think the Vikings is a good fit for McCarthy. I think he needs a better O-line because their O-line sucks. But I also think Jay Jettis needs to get out of there. Save that man's career, because if he stays in it, mark my words, y'all can come back to this if you want to. If he stays at the Vikings with that quarterback, his career is going to end fast. He goes somewhere else, whether it's the Bengals or wherever, his career will last. But if he stays with the Vikings, his career will end at the Vikings, and he won't go far. Not hating him. Jay Jettis is a dog when he gets the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's still one of the best receivers in the league.
Oh, 100%.
And as we're sitting here, live update, Broncos just took a 30-27 lead, just scored a touchdown with under a minute left in the game. So I think I was still kind of spot on with the Broncos, winning here. But yeah, anything can happen. There's less than a minute.
This man's about to turn into prime. If you're young enough or you're old enough, you might know this. Prime Aaron Rodgers. That man was the dog at Hail Marys, bro. That man was. It's gonna be Josh Allen. Josh Allen's gonna get him down to 30. They're gonna kick a field goal, put it in overtime. Josh Allen.
I don't know if it's gonna, because it was it 27-23 before, so they've already kicked it. Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying. The Bills are gonna kick a field goal, put them in overtime. Josh Allen running it in for the touchdown.
It's possible. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, and that boy can take hits.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not over yet, but I have a feeling, no matter what happens, that the Broncos are going to pull this one out.
Good. Well, I guess the only way we're going to find out is at the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, brother. Well, it was a pleasure on the podcast again, man. Hey, guys, we do have a saying around here, man, and it is do a flip. Peace.